everybody. Welcome to the Soulful Eclectic. I am your host, Diana Collins, and I want to welcome you to today's episode. If this is the first time you're joining us, hey, welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time out to be here. I so appreciate you and your time. If you are returning, I want to say welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, and thank you for coming back and listening to see what we have going on. So I also want to, before I get started, thank our WUBI Ubiquity Radio family and TV family. And thank you so much for all of you who are chiming in on the station, on the TV station, on Roku, on the radio station, on your app, however you're following it, or even out there on the web. I appreciate you. So thank you. Please do like, share, give us your feedback because we're constantly growing and want to bring you out the best information and music and entertainment that we can. The other thing I want to do is thank Divine Nubian Essentials. I tell you, there's nothing like a little bit of Divine Nubian Essentials. You guys ask about my hair. These are sister locks. I've had them for some time, and all I use in my hair is Divine Nubian Essentials. This is the pomade that I use, and excuse me, I got all my products here, and here is the hair concentrated oil. We also have the gentleman's line, so if you have not gone to www.divinenubianessentials.com, please do. And also, if you have not, for those who are in education, who are in school, whether you're in healthcare beginning, middle, and whatever you're doing, we have assistance for those who need help. So Divine Nubian Essentials is also partnered with Collins Education Resource Management, who is here to help you with your healthcare educational needs, whether it's in the classroom, outside the classroom, or even in the boardroom, in the corporate room, because we still have to maintain health and wellness even when we're at work. That's that work-life balance, people. That's what we're trying to keep, okay? Keep us afloat, keep us healthy, keep us in a good spirit, both mind, body, and soul. So today on the Soulful Eclectic, we have a very special guest. Now, I know you guys probably heard of Jermaine Shoulders. He has been a guest on our podcast some time ago, and he has come back, and we're going to see more and more of him as well. So with that, I want to invite my dear friend, Mr. Jermaine Shoulders. Hi, Jay.
How you doing,
Welcome.
Diana?
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, Jermaine, I know it seems like, because we have conversations, and it seems like we've known each other for years, and it just really boggles my mind how our conversations go. It's like we got that kin spirit, kind of thing going on, which I love.
Absolutely.
But we originally met. I actually auditioned for you for the feature that you were doing. Gosh, I think it was 2021. I was still living in Gilbert. It's 2021, I think it was, and it was the movie. The movie was Shades of Violence.
Oh yes. Oh, my stage play.
Yes, the stage play. So it was a combination, right? That was a combination.
Yeah, it's a combination of stage and film. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. I remember that.
You remember that one? I know it was so long ago. Even though it just seems like it's still fresh in my mind. I still have my script, so so whenever you're ready, just let me know. Okay.
Yep, hold on to that. Actually, we wrote a little bit of it, so you'll get a new version.
Okay. I could deal with that. Just I still have my copy, just so you know. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's how we met through Shades of Violence. Yep. So yeah.
Yes,
and we've been working together periodically on different things, and catching up and things like that. So which is great because, like I said, we had very good conversations. I mean, from all walks of life and all things, and which some you guys are going to get some of that too, because I can never stay on topic, which is okay.
I have to rein you back a little bit, right? It's all good.
Exactly. You gotta keep me on task here, which is not very easy to do because I go off really quickly. I get a thought and it's just like, squirrel and I'm
Yeah,
gone. But
yeah,
um,
yeah.
but it's all great things though. So tell us, what have you been up to since Shades of Violence?
Wow. Well, thank you first of all again for having me. Hello to your audience. Since then, I've been kind of on a writing spree. Just making sure I'm sure I wrote a book for screenwriters actually, which is
Yes, you
on
did.
sale now, and on Amazon, and it's actually on sale also at, yep, there it is. Wow, that was pretty good. Um, yes, as you can see, that was actually the AZ Black Phoenicians Writers Group was a writers group I actually created here, and it was just a group of content creators and writers, and I think we had a stand-up comedian, and we kind of sat down and we wrote a film short together. So we wrote actually two, and one of them actually won an award, an audience award at a film festival here. So yeah, I wrote this book. Since then, I actually just completed an audio version of this book.
Oh, you did.
I did actually did a audio drama, created an audio drama called The Mastersons, which is now on Spotify, and I think also I think it's on Google Play. I'm not Google Play, but yep, there you go. It's there. It is. Okay, that's
Mhm.
awesome. So 13 episodes of that. It's really a nice dramatic piece um, that I'm actually going to be. I want to kind of revive for the stage as well. So yeah, this right here was a love of labor, labor of love. I guess that's how you say it. And it was fun. It was fun. Had a nice big cast. Of really good, great people. So this I've done that, and that like I said, is up on Spotify, and I think it's up on Apple
You have Apple
podcast
Podcasts
as
too.
well.
Yeah, because that's where I
Mhm.
listen to it at.
Yep. So they got that going on, and I just wrote a few more kind of film shorts and some scenes and things like that. Then life start life, and the grandkids start coming, and
That
things just
life
start
start
moving.
life in.
Yes, the life starts life, and moved out of. I was on living on the west side. Now I'm down on on the south side of town. So which is great actually, 'cause it's centrally located to everything. So things just progressing and moving slowly, but I'm managing to stay creative, and I'm managing to kind of stay focused on the goal, which is to create good work, put good people, in my work to say my words, and
Mhm.
but just really develop these relationships like we have, and I have with others as well, and build a community of artists, filmmakers, something that I'm used to, that I grew up. I'm sure as if your listeners listen to the previous show, my story of where I come from, New York City, and I came from the stage. So
Mhm.
in that environment, and then moving to Los Angeles, those are two hubs of entertainment. So I'm looking for that happy medium of sincerity,
Mhm.
in the artistry, not trying to break into Hollywood, but trying to be the best you can be and create our own reality right here in the Southwest. So I think that's all possible if we just keep our heads in the game, and just stay focused on what we really want, which is to see ourselves in good work being represented well, and and enjoying our time, because this is something that very few people get to do. Not a lot
Yeah.
of people can sit down and write screenplays. Not a lot of people can act in these things
Mhm.
and perform in these things because it takes time, it takes work. So applaud you, as, well,
Yeah.
for what you're doing, because I stepped away from the acting game a long time ago, and that was for a reason. But being behind the camera and being the the brains behind the operation, I much prefer as opposed to being in front of
Well, I think by you being in front of the camera, even though you removed yourself, I think that helped you be that much of a better producer, director, and screenwriter because you know what you want to do being an actor,
the camera.
right?
Absolutely.
So you, I think you are a force to be reckoned with when you have that component
Mm,
because I think you
mm.
add a flavor uh, as we do, you spice it up a little bit more, you know,
Absolutely. You got
to
to.
that.
You gotta. Yeah, you gotta tantalize the senses. The whole idea is to create emotion, an emotional reaction.
Yeah.
And you want as an artist, even when I figured that out. I'm glad you said that. I figured that out as a child, on the stage. If I said a word a certain way, if I put an inflection in this particular dialogue, I got a certain reaction.
Hmm.
And as I kind of repeated certain, I would test it out right on the stage while we're performing, and I would see how get reaction. So we did 4 shows when I was doing this, during this time, and by the fourth show, knocked it out the box because I educated myself while I was on the stage. I was just that much absorbed in what was happening around me. So I figured out audiences. I figured out people want to feel something. They
Hmm.
don't, they don't just want to intellectually take in what they're seeing. They want to actually feel something. They want to care about you as much as possible, or they want to hate you. At whatever character
Right.
that you're playing. So that's always been the driving force. So when I picked up the pen, it was the same desire. I want to see people be moved by my words. I started as a poet, so I was doing all this poetry and spoken word stuff in these little
Hmm.
clay, little rooms in Los Angeles in my late
Right.
teens, trying to, you know, figure this out. And that's how I developed my rhythm, and kind of how I write, the technique of how I write, through
Hmm.
poetry. I can go on and on with that. But yeah, the idea basically is to create an emotion and an emotional reaction and to have you think about what you're seeing as opposed to just watching it for entertainment value.
No, and I appreciate you saying that because you have so many people who are out there that's saying, "Oh, it's easy to be an actor. You don't really work at it. You know those kinds of things. I can get up and go out there and be an actor." And it's like you don't understand the amount of work that goes into being on camera, on stage. It's not just memorizing lines
Right.
and you saying that is like exactly because you have those individuals who go to school, and I'm not knocking anyone that goes to school for it because
Hmm.
you did your thing, you did what your due diligence to do it, but there is a
Right.
level of life experience that you need to bring to it as well, and
Bingo.
learning and growing with it.
Bingo.
So
Bingo.
you put emotion behind those words, you put feeling behind, you put a little you into that. So it's not you playing a character, it's you being you as this person
There
with
you
a
go.
little bit, and you're just the words are your guide, right?
Boom. You said it. You said it. 100%. That's absolutely correct. My biggest thing is don't act. I tell all the time, you don't act. You embody. You become.
Mhm.
It's who you are. And you can tell just by someone making a statement like that, you can tell people actually believe that by the quality of work that we're seeing. It,
Mhm.
it's it's microwave. It's not baked. It's not developed. It's not nurtured. It's just, you can hear it in the quality of music we have nowadays. You can hear,
Yeah.
there's no more R&B, good R&B anymore. And there's no more because the artists are not sitting back and living life a little bit and
Yeah.
allowing life to kind of teach them certain things. So just like you said, so they can put a little bit of themselves in these particular characters. And that's what sets the great actors apart from the mediocre because, you can't tell me that Denzel doesn't practice that. It's his thing. to become that character during
Mhm.
the 90-day, 120-day period they're shooting this film. He doesn't take the character off when he goes home. When he gets in his car to go home, he's the character. His family is used to him being the character during that whole process of filming. And then once the filming is over, he has to decompress and unbecome, and then
Yep.
you don't see him in another film for 2, 3. The reason why the films are coming back to back is because he may be shooting them that way. They may be coming that way as they're finishing with the editing. But these are films he's completed years ago, and he's
Yes.
probably somewhere in San Tropez relaxing, living life. He's a married man. He has children. He has grandchildren. So,
Yeah.
it's living life, and that's what the artists of today don't do. It's just so quick, and they just need it, right
Mhm.
now, that it loses the essence of what it was meant to do, which is to create a feeling. You just kind of seeing it, and it's okay, but it is no intrinsic value to
Yeah.
you, and you don't remember it. So, growing up, I was always taught that especially when I picked up the pen in the mid 90s, if the audience is not talking about what they saw when they left the theater a week later, you didn't do your job.
You do your job.
The film didn't hit. It didn't hit. It didn't do it because there was no influence. If you forget about it, and if you went to dinner and you're not even talking about the movie, it didn't mean anything to you. There was something there that just whatever. And to me, that's you just fumbled an opportunity to affect somebody in a way that gets them to think about their lives and where they are.
No, and you know what? And I agree because I'm just thinking about the the last few movies that I sat and watched, and again, I still consider myself a novice. I am, still learning, and I give myself that space to learn. But I can tell the difference with someone who's just embodying the words and not just saying the words and
Yes,
acting. And and I always say, if you can move me in a scene, like you said, then you did your job. Then you did what was set out to do. And honestly, not saying that these people aren't great actors or anything, but I'm just not moved the way I used to be, which is why I always go back to old
yeah,
films and the things I've already watched because they moved me,
right, right. And that's
you
what I'm
know.
seeking to change, Diana. That's my goal. I want to change that. I want to kind of rein that back in and
Mhm.
remember and bring us back into the remembrance of why we got into this in the first place. You know what I mean? To bring people happiness. We want to, it's not just entertaining you for, we want to make you think. We want to have you feel something. We want to change the world. We want to do things. This is our part of giving back. We're reflecting life as
Mhm.
art. We reflect life and we're giving of ourselves. We're giving back. That's what makes us artists. That's literally the definition. So
Mhm.
it's kind of disheartening a little bit to see, where things are now. And the quality of work that's coming out is just, I haven't sat inside a movie theater to be honest with you. Uh, these 3 years, I would say. I think the last movie I sat for was maybe Black Panther or uh,
Yeah.
maybe the second one. But we don't do
Right.
theaters anymore because it's I'm gonna come out of there. I just wasted $30, some popcorn
Yes.
jumping. So my idea is to change that. Is to get us back to remembering, performing, to be artists, to take your time, to really soak in what you're doing as an artist. Take some of that life experience as a mom, as a wife, as a business owner, as a
Mhm.
medical professional, as whatever else you're doing, someone involved in fitness and well-being. You're
Mhm.
going to take a little piece of that. You're going to take Diana when she was 10 years old. You're going to take some of that, and bring that
Right.
up. And so we're always doing that. And I think a lot of the actors and artists of today are just not mindful of that because we have technology and we could do it so quick and money can be made from stuff that is just won't stand the test of time, you know. And
No.
that, to me, that's a shame. That's really like a lost thing. So I'm just trying to do my little part in bringing that back. You know what I mean? And that starts with the quality of the writing, the quality of the work. You know,
Yes.
a lot of you have the script to the play. There's a lot of harsh dialogue in there. There's a lot of, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
really mean stuff in there, and that's on purpose. That's to
A lot of
people talk,
emotion.
a lot of emotion.
Definitely.
People talk that way. People live that way. Those are real things that happen. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm an artist. I'm
Right.
gonna reflect reality, but I'm putting a little bit of myself into all of that.
Yeah.
It's really
And I
simple,
think
but it's,
and I think that's what I loved about, Shades of Violence, to be honest. I am a triumph. I like to say I triumphed against domestic violence. I've
mm,
had that, and I have to put it in a perspective where it wasn't. It could have been as violent as what we have gone through in the script
mm,
and what we see in society. And I am very grateful that it was only like financial and emotional for me.
mm.
Um, and I had enough to know that I didn't want the other to come because,
Right.
it does
That
come,
was next.
right?
Yeah, that was next. Yeah,
It
that
was
was next.
next.
Yeah.
Um, and I joke about it to this day, but I say to myself, the only thing that kept me from being in jail is the fact I didn't want to wear orange every day and I love my freedom.
Oh boy, that's a lot. Wow. Hmm. That says a
Right?
lot. Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it.
Um,
I get it.
and you and that's true. And then when I had kids, it was I didn't want anyone else to raise my kids
Right.
but me.
Right. Right. But
So,
that also lends to, you know, it doesn't also always have to be physical to get to that point, you know, to where you
mhm,
can get to that emotion. Emotional can be just as damaging, you know what I mean? Even more so than physical scars.
yeah.
Mhm.
And I that's the thing that I really appreciated about Shades of Violence because it it allowed all of that to unfold and allowed me to pull from those pieces because you, the person, the main one of the main characters that I played, right? She
Mhm.
she is triumphant over it. So, it allowed me to pull from that, that horror, that sadness, and embody that. And for those who have not experienced it, it's a challenge for you to draw from. So you have to really have a level of empathy for somebody who has gone through those kind of things because
Yes,
you have to portray that emotion.
absolutely. And I wanted to instill a little bit of that in there, the empathy and the compassion
Hmm.
um, in those scenarios, which is kind of why you had the main character speaking throughout, one of the characters speaking throughout the entire piece, actually
Hmm.
speaking to a room of women, and it's kind of that voice that navigates, you know, throughout the entire piece. I wanted that in there because you know that was the balance. That was to
Hmm.
kind of rein it in because everything else is so shocking that I wanted to kind of provide that empathy, provide that knowing and that kind of that motherly hand, you know, of understanding and compassion. And I hope I pulled that off, but I wanted to, you know, put that in there because that's so important. That's so important,
It
especially for
is.
the life character. It's very vital.
Hmm. So yeah, so we're definitely like I bring that back because I was like I still want to do that.
Message received.
So
Message
that was
received.
my little selfishness there, right
Yes,
there, just a
yes.
little
Well,
bit.
you said it. I picked up on it, but I was gonna let it ride. You said it. So it's all good. But yeah, I was actually picturing you in that role and how I wanted to kind of do it. I found a great location as well too. Oh my gosh, but
See,
you have to come up to 10. But yeah,
nice.
Yeah, we can talk about that. But
Yeah,
yeah.
we'll talk about that. But yeah, so we talk, and I like that. Again, speaking of growing in your craft and doing and learning and being and embodying the words that are given to you, I don't think people study enough
That's the word.
when before they go and say, "Hey, um, I'm going to go do this." So I know for me, I can get typecast really easily, right? I can be the quintessential mom. I can go over
Mhm.
here and be the auntie and, be the doctor, the nurse, whatever. So I
Mhm.
can see that. But for me, I know I can do so much more. So how do, for me, I say, okay, so how do I not get into that rut? And I put this out here for everybody is you study things that are make you uncomfortable,
Yes, I agree.
right?
I agree.
Put
100%.
yourself in that uncomfortable position and, throw it out there. And it's costly because, it's not for free, but you can also do these things um, that can be cost effective. And I just want to put this out there to share with people who are saying they don't do it because, oh, taking classes costs this much money, doing this costs this much money. And it does. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say that it doesn't. It does.
Mhm. Mhm.
You can. But there's
Mhm.
ways around that too. If you find yourself a good group of into people who are doing the same things, a group of like-minded individuals, you can
Yes, yes,
develop a niche, right?
yes.
And just say, hey, I'm going to we're on screen now doing all these callbacks and auditions on Zoom, and we're taping and sending out tapes and things like that now, which I love and appreciate it because you're not trying to get to LA, trying to fly to Georgia,
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
it gets
That's
you out.
definitely a benefit of technology. Definitely.
Right? It gets you out there, but there is a way to do it and there's a way to construct it, and you have to do it a certain way. So having that niche is really helpful because you can say, "Hey, I'm going to play with this scene. I'm going to self-tape it. Tell me what
Mhm.
you think." And
Mhm.
have that person critique it,
Yes,
redo it based off of their critiques, and then
yes.
bring it back and say, "Hey, what did I hit your mark? Did it?" Because that gets you to that whole redirect, right? You're a director.
Absolutely. 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 And that's something that, again, I'm glad you brought that up because that is the idea of behind, my theater company is to do just that. Yeah, acting classes and scene study, that stuff, it can cost you, it can get pretty costly,
Mhm.
depending on who's, teaching that stuff. But for me, honestly, um, what I'm trying to do is it doesn't cost you a thing, but your time, your energy, and your dedication to the craft for yourself. Um, you, yeah, you can study technique, you
Mhm.
can study, methodology, but who's your favorite actor? Whose work do you follow? How many films do they have? Or do they do theater as well? I always go back to Denzel, or I go back to James Earl Jones. I'll go back to what was her name? Mary Alice.
Mhm.
Um, these wonderful actors who can grace the screen, small, large or small, but when you don't see them on the screen, small or big, they're on the stage. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? And they're touring the country on the stage, or they have a residency on Broadway where they're, doing a production for a
Mhm.
2 year, a contract. These people are in their craft on a consistent basis. Denzel does plays throughout the year. You understand what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
these people, and and he's world renowned. Everybody knows that, and he studies. So that's the word. He studies. He studies.
Yes.
He's still learning. He still want to understand other aspects of other characters. He's still, he's a director. He understands, this entire thing, but he still studies.
Yeah.
Who does he like to watch? Who did he
Yes.
learn the game from? how to walk on the stage, how to present himself, how to angle his body, how to inflect and emote, how to how to draw the audience in. These are things you learn on the stage. These are things you learn in front of the audience, and these are things you learn with feedback. You learn with being monitored by those who are still trying to figure it out themselves. You know what I mean? It's so much more valuable because it forces you to not rely on what the instructor says is the right thing. What do you say is the right thing? How do you feel about how you perform in comparison to not anyone else, but your last performance? You see what I'm saying? Your last
Yep.
time. So how much are you digging deep into you to not act but become and embody? Are you
Yes.
this person? How can you
Yes.
be this person? What is it about this person? Oh, well, this person is a psychopath. This character is a psychopath. Go get some books on that and read about that. Go
Hmm.
look at some films that have, you have all kinds of psyop type movies going back to the 50s. Study that stuff. Who's
Yes.
the directors? Who's the writer? Who are the actors? Who's the producers behind that? Do they make those types of films all the time? Do they put their money in other types of films? So it's very important. It's all of that. It's the world of that particular character that you're trying to build and you're trying to understand and you're trying to embody. What did they eat when they were 6 years old? Did they like
Hmm.
cereal? They like cheese on a burger? Things like that. You know what I mean? That's the study and the work that you do. So and it shows through. Every time you perform that piece, it should get better and better and better and not remain the same. And so the goal is to have people perform these pieces in front of an audience. It's a safe space.
Hmm.
All adults here. You may hear some things you don't like, you know.
Right. It's okay.
That's okay because that's to build you up. Me, I like
Hmm.
criticism. I'll take criticism all day, even as a writer. Somebody will say, "Hey, man, this character doesn't make sense. They don't even belong here. Why'd you do?" I got to think about it. Okay, well, they don't. So maybe I just threw them in there because there was something else going on in my subconscious that said, "Put this character here." And so it can be a myriad of things. So feedback is important, but without that study, without that study, we get and not to knock Tubi. I love Tubi because hey,
Right.
you can find some pretty funny stuff on Tubi, and you'll find a gem every now and then. But
Every now and
just the quality of the work. It's like yeah, but they got it done. But it's like
then.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
think about it. I'll leave my last point on this here. Think about it. We have all these streaming services with all of these movies on it that we're paying $8.99 a month for, $9.99, $10.99 a month, which equals a big ass cable bill when you think about it. Excuse
Right.
my language.
It does. Yeah. My husband and I talked about that.
You wind up paying $70 a month. You're like, wait a minute,
What am
you
I
paid more
doing?
for this? But and
Hmm.
then there's nothing you can watch. Have you ever had that experience where you're just
Hmm.
there's
We end
nothing
up on
on
a
it?
documentary.
Yeah, you end up on a documentary or one of your favorite movies you've seen 1,000 times. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That me and my wife's experience on
Oh,
a
trust me.
on the weekend. I'm sure it's many other people's experience. You finally get time to relax with your loved one and you want to watch a movie and you're like, okay, oh my God, there's
You
nothing on.
spend 20 minutes trying to find something.
By then you're hungry. You want to, maybe
Hmm. Exactly.
let's just take a walk, sweetheart, or something. We'll do something, and it kind of gets so that's what I want to
Yeah,
that just speaks volumes to where we are now.
it really does. And so, talk a little bit about Black Diamond Company
Yes.
because I know when we first met, you had Mosaic
Yes.
Entertainment,
Mhm. Right. I
right?
still do.
And you still
Mosaic is
have Mosaic,
yeah. Mhm.
right?
Mosaic is a
So
production company.
it's your production company. So you have your
Yes.
Mosaic Entertainment, your production company, and now you have Black Diamond.
Yes.
Right. So Black
Yes.
Diamond is what we were just talking about, where it's a collective unit of those of us in the craft working on our craft and giving each other feedback. So
Yes.
tell us a little bit more about that. I mean, I know you talked a little bit about the birthing of that and why, but how is that coming along so far? We only have one.
Well, Black Diamond Theater Company, well, it started out as Black Diamond Mini Theater Company, kind of micro theater, 15 seater, things like that, where you just do these small scenes and, little things like that. And I thought, well, let me upgrade that a little bit to just Black Diamond Theater Company. And the idea behind that is, like we just discussed, kind of, I call it the open mic for actors,
Mhm.
right? And it's an opportunity. I said, let me create an opportunity for these actors out here, because Arizona is full of talent. You got people from other places that move here, full of talent, and the natives, the native people here are there's a lot of talent here. So why not give them an opportunity where it doesn't cost them anything? You're just part of a theater company, and we put on these productions, and you're basically volunteering your time. But it's not just that. I don't want you to just look at it as I'm just volunteering my time for this guy. It's no, I'm taking the opportunity to become a better actor. This is for people who are serious about their craft. If you're
Mhm.
just dipping your toes in it, no, this is something that this is what you want to do with your life. You know what I mean? You may have other things going on. So either you want to improve as an actor, this is a career step that you're taking, and you want to really develop a community and develop your craft and your skill level, be able to take feedback. So when you go to auditions, you do better. When you're doing your Zoom scenes, for auditions and stuff, you perform better. Why? Because you're more comfortable. You know who you are. You know who your character is. You've gotten feedback on this and you've worked on this. You may do the piece 2 or 3 times till you get it the way you want it. So the idea is to create that. So we have an open mic. I created an open mic for actors, writers who are writing scenes, who have like I do long form or short form content, who may be struggling with the scene that they have, because that happens sometimes. You have these characters and you're trying to work out this particular scene to push the story in a certain direction, and you may want to work that scene out. Have a couple actors come on and just work through your scene for you and get feedback on that. Did it work? Did it not work? Are these characters believable together? Things like that. And also, it's an open mic for directors as well. If you're a film director and that's what you do, you're not so much a writer or anything like that. You like to put people in their places and understand the story on a more on a deeper level, because you have to bring the story out visually as a director. You may have somebody put a scene together for you and allow you to direct the scene to see how the scene flows and ask the audience, how did it feel for you? Did it make
Nice.
sense? Do these characters flow together? Is the scenery right? Just whatever feedback we can give you as a director, we'll do that as well. So I thought to give an open mic opportunity to these people as well, not just the poets and the MCs.
Mhm.
Not really doing that. This is for actors, those who are looking to really improve on their craft and go out there and make it happen. Maybe you'll be in one of my productions. Who knows? But that's what I'm looking to do, is to kind of create this ecosystem outside of where we have these actors. I have the thing with the writers. That's why I wrote the book. To kind of just help develop people from my 25 years of experience in this industry. Um, Longer than that, 35, going back to 83, 84.
Mm.
Uh, but yeah, time doesn't exist. But yeah, so that's the overall idea of it. So
Yeah. And I love that. And I missed the first one. I'm going to own that,
that's
but
okay. That's all right. This
um,
next one will be fantastic. You don't want to miss this one.
no, I definitely will be there for the next one. Now, how often are you planning to do them? I mean, I know personally because I'm in the middle of
Mhm,
the circle, but
mhm. Absolutely, you are. Yes, you are. Um, so I'm going for every the last Saturday of every month. Um, it was Fridays, but I have a schedule change now, so it's on Saturdays. From 7 to 9 p.m., or I may do 6 to 8 p.m. Still
okay,
working out the time, but yeah, the last Saturday of every month. I'm doing a soft launch for everyone out there. I'll put this out there now. Doing a soft launch of theater. on March 16th. And I'm working out the time there. I do have a location. It's a fantastic location downtown. I think one of the reasons why some people probably had difficulty or last time because it was a little farther north, and people really like to drive, and that's something
Mhm.
I have to keep in mind about this town. It ain't New York, it ain't LA, so I don't know why people trip about driving,
I
but people don't like to drive out here, so I don't get that,
I don't
yeah,
either.
you know,
Because people
it,
like,
it,
oh, they live places and like, okay, it's 30 minutes. It's not
yeah,
going to kill you. I'm
it's
like,
not. Okay, put your radio on, like what,
right.
like
Vibe
you
out till you
also,
get there.
yeah,
I mean, I drive
I don't get it.
from Tucson, okay,
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah,
come out to do
right.
things that are in Phoenix because one, it benefits me. Two, I'm supporting the arts. I'm supporting my friends.
Hmm.
I mean, I may not be able to make everything, but
Hmm.
I'm there, and and it's a drive. It's 2 hours. But you know what?
Yeah,
Like you said, I throw my music on
and
and
just
I
kick back
and I just kick back and I'm good.
and just
Like, and
drive, man. And show your support. Like it's that's one of the reasons why places like this struggle as far as
Mhm.
the arts and the industry and things like that. And places like New York, LA, Chicago thrive. They say, oh, they're cities, everything's like, well, not everybody lives in the city. Like there was people I worked with, doing plays that lived in Philadelphia, that lived in Connecticut, and those were 2 hour, hour and a half drives, into the city, and they would come
Into the
into the
city.
city all the time. So even out in Long Island is 100 miles long. So, you may be coming from Nassau County to come out, to the city, and people have done it because the city is unaffordable. So people would live further out. People lived in New Jersey, would come over. So and then in the Los Angeles, the same thing. Like I lived 30 miles outside the city when I was running to auditions and everything. So I just, the idea about not wanting to drive, it kind of, I'm like, okay, this town is not big enough for all that, but I guess so.
Mm-mm.
So you got to do, where
Right.
people come, unfortunately. So if it's downtown where everybody's, more comfortable and it's close, hey, I'll do downtown, to build this. But so I want to make sure that people can really come out and enjoy and
Mhm.
take part of something like this because the feedback that I'm getting from it is everybody's excited about those who are
Mhm.
into this are very excited about an opportunity like this because it doesn't exist out here. But that's just coming from my experience, living in both coasts and doing this stuff for a long time, that I know what to bring. I know there's something different here, and
Mhm.
there's a thriving community. It's not like there's not a thriving theater
Right.
community or a thriving film community or, a thriving artistic community. It is, it predates me, but, I could bring something different. And so far, there's nothing like, what I'm, trying to introduce here out here so far.
No, and it's not. I think, like I said, I think it's divine intervention on how we connected because I can't even remember how I found your audition. To
Ah,
be
it had to be
it,
one of those Facebook group pages or something.
it,
I think, yeah,
it had to be, but um, it's just one of those things that if it's meant for you, the people it's meant for will show up.
yeah. That's why I don't trip about it. I don't trip. It's because it's coming from a place of sincerity and
Mhm.
a true desire to be a resource. Saying, yeah, sure, build a business, but yeah, I want to be a resource. I want to
Yeah.
help. I want to, I'm not trying to be, Spike Lee. I'm not trying to be, I want to be a resource to help others reach their dream. That's
Mhm.
my dream now. What I'm saying is to help others, get to where they want to be. And I could, it was my little bit of time, little bit of talent, little bit of energy. Hopefully
Mhm.
I can point you in the right direction, which is not out there, but in here. You know what I mean? In here, and up
Within
here.
yourself, right?
Within you. Don't, if you're looking for out there for validation, you're not gonna make it as an actor, period, point blank. if that's what you're feeding off of, yeah, we like that because we want people to appreciate what we're doing. But if that's what you truly need, then you're not really an artist to me. Your desire should be to give.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's as an artist that you just giving. You're a parent. We're like parents. All we do is give. We
Yeah.
give. We give. We give against even our better judgment. We give. We give. We give to our children and to those in our families. And we have to sometimes understand that sometimes we got to rein that back in, and people don't like that.
No.
But I got to protect my peace too, right? And
Right.
as an artist and just as a human being, I got to protect myself. But our job as artists is to give, man. And if we're not giving, what are we doing? Just go corporate.
Exactly.
It
Just
take.
go corporate.
Right? That's what corporate does. Just takes. It just
Just
takes
take.
and it gobbles
Mhm.
things up. That's corporate. And as an artist, you give. So it's a nasty dichotomy, but it's the world we
It
live in.
it is. And but you know what? I love it and I appreciate it. And I'm blessed to be a part of it.
I'm
Um,
glad you are. So am I.
and I've
It's blessed
learned
to
so
be.
much. Yes. Yes. And I've learned so much. And I'm going to go to a little bit of the whole spiritual piece
Mhm,
on everything that we do as creatives.
mhm.
If you're not growing spiritually through it, then I think you're really not putting yourself truly in it, because
I
there is a spiritual component in the giving. We talk about empathy and being parents, and you give them from this well, and whether it's your knowledge, your time, you're giving constantly.
mhm.
You really have to really sit with yourself and really think about what it is that you want to get out of it, because it is a give and take. What do you want to get out of it as well? If it's just financial freedom and all these riches, then hell, you're in the wrong place.
Yeah, that part.
Right. And
Mhm.
I'm going to be fully transparent with it, and I think we all get to that. We all start at that point. I want to be rich. I want to have this amount of money because I want all right, this is the adult version of me, okay?
Mhm.
Because I started later. I didn't start as young as you did. I didn't start as young as I had my daughter start. I started this at 40.
Wow. Mm,
At
mm,
40, I
mm,
started this journey, and at 44, I actually put it into action.
mm.
Okay, so I sat with myself for a good period of time before I even started putting the work in to get to where I am at this point. So to me, I felt like I was playing catch up kind of
Mm.
thing with
Ye
it all, right? I was playing.
Kinda, but no.
No, right? And that's
Mm,
it, and that's what I learned as I
right,
was doing it. It's like, yeah, but not really. Not
right.
really, right? But again, it took that point of during that time that I'm, getting to that point, I had to sit with that whole what am I trying to get out of it? What do
Mm,
I plan to do with it? Where do I want to see it go? Because again, your first, instinct is financial, because we all want to get out of that financial rut, right?
yes, yes, right.
So, but then as again, you think about it and you come to grips with the reality of it, it's like, no, what do I really want to do? What do I really see myself? And that's why I said the spiritual piece comes in, because you really have to sit with your soul
You
and
do.
sit with what it is that who you are as a person, and actually learn you.
You do. You do. And it shows. It shows in the work. It shows in how you approach the work. If you're doing that, it's internal. It's definitely the work you have to do on the inside, just growing and maturing as a human being. if you're, as a man and as a woman, there's certain things that I have to learn and understand and embody as a man, and same for a woman, and we have to develop, and as a constant developing process, and as artists is a constant developing process. It's that's why, and I'm going to quote the Bible a little bit here, but that's why Christ says, when you come to me as children, because
Mhm.
you need to always be always in wonderment, always in the growth period, always where things that come to us is new and it's surprising, and it's something else to add to what we're learning. And children are always inquisitive,
Yeah.
always wondering and growing and trying to learn and figure out, and they take time. Watching a child will take time to sit back and kind of meditate to themselves about certain things, and that's how they develop their personalities and understand what they like and don't like. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
watching my grandson is in that process. At 2 years old, is how he's figuring out his environment and what he likes and what he don't like. He may not be able to verbalize, "Hey, can you get me something to drink out the fridge?" But what he'll do is walk up to you, grab your hand, walk you
Mhm.
to the fridge, have you open the door, and point to what he wants. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
and there it is. So that's it's a constant evolution, and I think sometimes people don't want to face themselves, and people don't want to really have to deal with certain aspects of themselves. So they stop growing and developing certain areas, man, because they don't want to do what you were saying, what we're talking about, which is constantly growing, constantly learning, constantly building. And if you're not doing that as an artist, where you're constantly developing yourself, just like you said, if you're not constantly growing as a person, your work is going to fall flat, and you won't make it. You won't last long in this. You can't fake it till you make it in this, because people won't come see you if they want to hear somebody read something off a page. They could just do it themselves. Like, they don't
Mhm.
need you to do that on the screen for them. If you up there, they want to care about you. They see you, they want to feel you, they want to know who you are. Don't sound like a robot. Don't Do real people talk like
Yeah.
that? So it's always a constant development, and it's something that I really wish a lot of younger artists you know really take into account. This is
Yeah.
not in the rush. You don't need to. You're not going to be the next nothing. You're going to be the next you,
Yep.
and that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, we could look at Taraji, and we could look at the other the other women, sisters out here doing it, but you got to see where they got it from. How did they get it? Taraji got it out the mud like everybody else. You know what I mean? So she had to constantly go through a development process and a constant elevation process,
Mhm.
evolution as a woman, as a mom,
Mhm.
as a black woman in this industry, and that shows through in the work. The work that she chooses, to
Mhm.
to engage in. So there it is. So only thing you can say is, "Hey, bravo! You're creating great work. You're doing good stuff. Keep it going." And we'll see where any of these people are in the next 5 years. In the next 10 years, based on how they develop. As
Mhm. Yep. And I
you see
think
where we
right. Right. And I think that's what these and not to knock the young folk that are out
are.
here,
Right, right, right,
content creating, because that's what they know, that's what they grew up with.
right,
Um,
right.
but
They're
I
really
think
good at that stuff too. Honestly, they
yes,
really, you know.
they really are.
Mhm.
And I commend them for the amount of energy, because some of the stuff I see it, I was like, I don't have the space time.
Yeah, man. Just ugh, gosh. Yeah,
I
they
just
editing on your phone. Like, how do you do that? How do you
how do
sit
you
there and create a whole video on your phone, and then just too much.
it's still like, and it's funny because I'll play with it, and I've done like little bits and stuff, but for
Mm,
me it has to be really simple. Like,
right. Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely.
right? I don't
Rotary
want to
dial simple.
spend
Yeah,
Yes, I don't
yeah.
wanna spend hours and hours just trying to get, say, something simple as a dance down. No, we don't want that kind of time. I don't have that kind of mental
Mm,
capacity
right, right. Or the energy, dang it.
or
You
the
know what I'm saying?
energy.
No,
It's gotta be a couple of steps here and there,
that's it.
and then we're done,
Absolutely keep it moving. Yeah, absolutely. I
you
move
know?
my arms a little bit and keep it moving.
Right.
Yeah,
So I commend them, but again, it's about when you're thinking about that whole longevity piece, with stuff like that, there really isn't a really level of longevity. It's kind of
right.
here in the moment. Yeah, you have those numbers. So, but where is this going to take you? So that's where I appreciate our conversation on that, as far as we're sitting with it first.
Mhm.
Where is it that you want to go? What do you want to see? Like, we're talking about having edutainment.
There it is. We are
Right?
absolutely point blank. That was actually the first uh that was the first tagline, I guess, for Mosaic was we provide you entertainment because that's the idea behind it. It's not just to spoon feed you nonsense. You know, if you're
Mhm.
going to spend time or money watching, these people on the screen and or these using these streaming services, you're going to spend your money and your time. You want to see something that's quality, that you come back and watch again and again and again, and not scoff at like we do with most of them when we spending 20 minutes just flipping through stuff that we just looking at the trailer. You're like, oh my god, who's putting money
This
behind this? you know, so it's like good grief, like so
yeah.
it's like I said, I'm not knocking the young folk really because it's just certain things to help them understand, that
Mhm.
life is much more than, quickie clicks and things like that. If you want that good savor, you know,
Mm.
you want it to melt in your mouth, and when you swallow it, you want that lingering, good,
Yes.
warm feeling as it's going down your esophagus and it hits your belly. You can feel it hit your belly, and you can feel the love, and you can taste the love and time and
Mhm.
effort in each bite and in each, and even when you swallow, you can taste. So that's what I think a lot of them are missing because it's such a quick, no, we just get on, do this, and we're off. It's the same thing. It's really not the same
It's
thing
really
because
not.
we created 20 of these in an hour and a half when you should have did 20 of these in a month, or something like that, where you just, so it's like I said, you can hear it in the music. You can hear it in the
Mhm.
music. Everybody sounds the same. It's the same high pitch falsetto type of sound. And one thing I always say, I'm an R&B guy. And I tell people all the time, a lot of the young people, I say, well, I mean, yeah, yeah, the singer, they sound pretty, but there's no bottom. I say,
No.
where's the depth? Where's
Yeah.
the, it's not in how many runs you can do. It's when you do the run, the type of run, and is it coming from your throat or is it coming from
That
this gut,
diaphragm.
that diaphragm,
Mm.
that I want to hear the pain. I want to hear the suffering. I want to hear
Yes.
it's rhythm and blues. You know what I mean? So I want to understand that in you as an artist. And unfortunately, because things move so quickly now, that's
Mhm.
lost. And it's not like these kids are not talented because hey,
No.
I can't do half the stuff they do, and hey, props to you. I'm still learning how to let my daughter use the hotspot on my phone. I'm still figuring that out. So it's just like
Yeah.
okay, so it's props given, but let me offer you a little something that's going to extend what you're doing, and if
Yeah.
anything, be more introspective of what you're producing, what you're
Mm.
putting out in the world. You know what I mean? And that's so important to me, as I'm giving. Am I giving something that I actually want to see myself?
Right.
Is that how we want to engage in myself? And of course, I'm creating a work that I want to see.
Mhm.
It's just that simple. And when that came to me a few years ago, that's when I really, really went hard on it, on just really pursuing this, as a craft, not so much as a career per se, but
Hmm.
as a way of, yeah, making, it's a business. Yeah, I want to make a little something, but I'm not. That's not the overriding goal. The overriding goal is to create a community, ecosystem, to where that can come back to me tenfold. But it ain't just coming back to me tenfold. It's coming back to my family, and it's coming back to everybody
Right.
who was involved from the beginning. We're
Yes.
all reaping the benefits, all of it, because it's right at the beginning. It's burgeoning. It's allowing you. It's freedom. It's you're an artist. Just be, and don't be afraid of the darts and the
See.
bullets you might get just for that crappy scene you just did. Hey, we can help you fix that up. You know what I mean? Or that work is not for you. You might want to take a little more time to think
Hmm.
about what you want to do, and then So it's all of that. It's nurturing. I really want
You
to
want to
um,
cultivate that community and
yes,
build.
cultivate that community. Yes, absolutely. Of
Now,
artists, of writers, actors, directors, those who are serious about their craft, and let Phoenix, really the state of Arizona, because we're everywhere throughout the state, right? Let us shine, man. We can do it. We just gotta, have the will, and that's, we just gotta have the determination and the will to do it.
yeah, definitely. And and speaking to the soul of it, it brings me back to that when you turned on WUBI, right? And
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
that Ever Mind was on, and it's like both of us, it's like we both felt it in our
Yeah,
soul, and
immediately.
I think we literally stopped for a moment.
Yeah, it was about 30 seconds. It was like, ooh, hmm.
Right,
Yeah, I had to turn it down a little bit because I was like, ooh, because it immediately just, I didn't expect it at all. Like I said, wow, I didn't expect that. The song just popped on, and it was just the right vibe at the right time. So
yeah,
here
and I
we are.
think right, and that's it, and I think that's what I hope anyone who listens, young or old, in between, all of that, can take that away from that because we I think we just really need to get back to, hate to see be so cliche, but get back to our roots.
Well, that's you can't say it any better than that. That's
Right?
that's what it is, and
Just
whatever that root is, just for you. But it's us. It's us. To get back to the feeling. That's what's missing. The feeling.
feeling.
We
Yeah.
don't feel anymore. We don't emote, in a constructive, healthy way anymore. In the
No.
music, the men don't know how to court the ladies in the music anymore like they did in the 60s and 70s. Comparing your the love of your life to a sweet honeybee, in the tree or
Right.
something, to even in the 70s the brothers was doing it, and it made a change
Mhm.
in the 80s, and by the 90s it was take your clothes off so we can get it in.
Right.
And it's like, wait a minute,
How we get
how do we get to from forever mine to take your clothes off and let's get it in, so
right.
so yeah, we need to get back to our roots of just
And
love,
it's funny because they, and I don't know if it's funny, but they talk. I hear the different genres of generations talk about the music and the entertainment industry in general, and they say, well, in the 20s and the 30s, they were talking about the same things. I said, but if you listen to the words, they weren't coming out here and naming body parts, for God's
right.
sakes.
Exactly. Exactly.
I,
Exactly.
and it goes back to one, my brother's dad used to play all the time in the car when we used to drive to St. Louis from New York. The craziest song ever known, but it it lives rent free in my brain. But I think it's "Don't Mess with My Toot Toot."
Don't mess with my tutu.
and,
Don't mess with my tutu.
and you can have the other woman, but don't mess with my
Ah.
toot
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
as a kid, I had no idea. It was a cute
Right.
little song. The guy was
Right.
like, but then as you grow, it's like, oh, that,
Mhm. Mhm.
oh,
Mhm.
okay.
Mhm. And that's how it should be, actually. A
Right?
kid
It
should
should
be
make
like,
you
"What is that?" And just the feeling of the song engulfs you. You don't even think about what it's saying, and as you mature, you figure it out later,
figure it out. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Pull up to my bumper, baby. Okay.
Right.
Alright.
Okay.
Yeah. Saving all my love for you. Okay.
Okay.
Um, yeah, that
Right.
was, very interesting song, but, it's the
But
feeling behind it,
it's the feeling behind it. And
behind
I I don't remember who sings it. I know it's old. I know that.
it.
I know it's old.
Right.
But like I said, it lives rent free and I can sing the words to this day because we've heard it for every car drive that we have for a distance. They pop the
Right.
cassette in the Cadillac and there you go.
There you go. That's right. That's
And
right.
there you go.
So it's those memories, those yeah. And and I tell my kids all the time, I say, man, you guys,
You don't
if it
know.
was if I had my way, we would just go back to the early 70s and have you live that experience, because, they don't have the same memories we have, and they don't
Mm-mm,
have the fondness of remembering, certain times where, even certain smells would take you back,
mm,
certain scents would take you back to certain times. And, this, I think technology, the advancement, the rapid advancement of this technology and just really, took the heart out of a lot of things. And, when I tell, my kids, especially, they're all in their 20s now, it's like how I grew up and the things I used to do, and they were like, wow, that must have been fun, like a good time. I said, well, I mean, it sounds fun, but at the time, it
it
wasn't
really
always,
was.
no, it was, it's embarrassing to walk around with food stamps and things like that.
Right.
I lived in the hood then too, so it's like that.
Right.
It wasn't always fun, but we understood what it was to be kids, and
Hmm.
our innocence lasted way longer than you guys. Like some of us was finding things out as juniors and seniors in high school. Go about
Right.
head up to college. We that ignorant, and these kids are now finding stuff out in elementary school. We wasn't
I know.
on the head. So my
I
granddaughter goes through a lot right now. She's 9 years old, and it's like, you kids are talking about what? She tells me these things. I'm like, what? What? I don't do it, grandma. What my friends say, and it's like, oh my good grief, so
it's
yeah,
scary.
I just this wasn't the world we intended on handing them, it is.
No.
So it's as an artist, the best I can do is say, hey man, let me put this into the world. Let me do what Stevie and them was doing and just try to inject some love in here because that's what's missing. The love and the
The
heart and
love.
the emotion, the care, the empathy. All of
Mhm.
that is just gone now, and it's best is to me the best the best word you can use is love. It's love. It's gone.
Mhm.
It's
Yep.
gone. And even the love of work is gone. The
Yes.
love of labor for a cause is gone. Just the love is gone. Even you can see it in relationships, gone. Just, you know, empty, meaningless marriages and empty, meaningless, we have friends, people I've spoken to, we have friends that go back 40 years. My kids won't
Mhm.
be able to say, and that makes me sad. That really does.
Yeah, it really does. But um, speaking of your grandchildren, we have that opportunity to make those changes, right?
We do. We do.
We
We do.
do. So, and I think our children, I don't have grandchildren yet, but I think our children and our grandchildren, I listen to my daughter. She'll tell me about things, and she's like, "Yeah, I remember you used to play these CDs, when we drove to New York." And she'll remember the songs, and I have actually looked at her playlist,
Mhm.
and a lot of those songs are on her playlist.
Yeah. Isn't that
And
something?
So I was like, wow. Because at first I thought it was my playlist. It's like, how did you get my playlist? And she goes, no,
Mm.
mom, it's my playlist. I was like, okay,
Wow.
I guess I rubbed off on you, right?
Yeah. You'd be surprised, right? You'd be surprised.
Yeah. But even talking to her and talking about that stuff, and
Mm,
she says, and I appreciate the candidness of it. She says, "Mom, I know raising us wasn't easy, because I was her age with two kids. You know,
mm,
she's
mm,
26 now, but at 26, I had two kids, working and going to school for a degree and things like that. So, and she's like, I can't imagine doing that now, having being my age, having kids, going to work, going to school, and coming home and being a mom."
mhm,
And she says, and because I saw all that you've done and you continue to do, she's like, I'm sending my kids to your house. I said, please slow down.
ah, yeah, yeah. Then you woke up from that dream, right? Yeah, okay. That was good. She's a comedian, man.
She's a comedian. She's like, you gonna raise my no, I'm not. No, no,
Right there.
no. We're not. They can
No, you're not
visit.
gonna do it. No, that's your job. You're gonna do that.
That's your job.
Mm,
I gave you
absolutely.
the foundation. You go ahead
Right.
and build whatever building you want to build on that.
Sayonara. I'm gone. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Those are my favorite words. Nope.
Nope.
And bye. Yeah, those.
Right. And so it's like you want that, and and it's like, yeah, but I'm not. No, no, no. We're not
Yeah,
raising your
yeah,
your
no,
your
we're not.
babies. Okay. Thank you for the compliment. I appreciate
Right,
it.
right. Yeah, yeah. They think it's funny because I'm like,
They do.
well, I was 20 something back then.
Right.
I'm not 20 something now.
No.
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 So, well, you're older. You should be more patient. No, I actually have less
No.
patience.
It's less. Yes.
I
Yes.
have less patience now, and yeah, I can deal with the crying, but yeah, at 8, 9 o'clock, I'm ready for that to yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was very funny. She's a comedian. Props given to her for that one.
Right.
That was a good joke. Nice jokey joke. Good jokey joke.
Right. She's like, oh, you can get. I'm like, no, 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 no. So yeah, so it's I so you have that validation, right? You have that
Yes, yes,
as
yes, yes,
crazy as
yes.
it is.
I mean, but it's cool though because it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to I don't want to say do it again, but it is. It's we are grandparents. It's
Mhm.
still tutelage. It's still some teaching going on. It's when you get questions asked, you want to answer the questions. You want to be able to have your life, reflect, some of the things that they're, seeing and hopefully in a positive way. So your grandkids, like I said, my oldest grandchild should be 10 this year,
Mhm.
and her beginning was nothing like where she is where it is now. It was like what you're what to we can't imagine life without her because she's an absolute comedian. She's an absolute comedian. So, but it's an opportunity to see where things that may have gone awry with you know their parent, your child, and things you may wish you could have done different or maybe said different, or and you just try to apply that as much as possible to this relationship. But the challenging part to that is you have to remember that the grandchild is not the child. You're a child. It's their
Mhm.
child, and it's what value system you may have put into them. No matter how much you put into them, they still develop their own. On some
Mhm.
level. So it's like, okay, now the guy you got to kind of walk that fine line of not stepping on your kids' toes who are trying to have that authority on their children, but
Mhm.
also have my authority as a grandparent respected by both. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's the the challenge of it, and really to me is the beauty in it, because if it's to hear my granddaughter say, "Well, Grandpa said this," and that's I like hearing that. I like she's not guessing about who I am and where I am. I'm right
Right.
there. You know what I'm saying? So I pride myself on that. Being there as much as possible. My daughter does. We do a lot of FaceTiming because she lives in Houston.
Hmm.
Uh, so we get to. She always, calls us and keeps us, tapped in with the girls. So
Nice.
that helps a lot. So it's just an opportunity to get a second chance to see where you are. And yeah, you do kind of feel graduated in a sense,
Hmm. Yes.
especially when you see your children perform well in the world, and struggle in the world, and figure it
Hmm.
out for themselves, in the world. That's you feel kind of graduated, and now
Yeah.
they felt, compelled to bring forth their own. And hey, we just sit back and just, we take a lot of pride in it, you know,
Hmm.
the fact that they can see us together at any time, and we're not going to this house and their house and that house and this house. You know what I'm saying? It's all on,
Yes.
and they get to see it. We don't have to do a lot of teaching, just living, will be, and we know kids are observant. Just
Mhm.
my wife and I living our lives and living, and growing and performing, as we
Mhm.
should. That I think that's enough sometimes, and they see that, and they can always say, "Well, my grandparents, my grand,
Mhm.
and they're still together, and they're still, doing it. They're, this, and it's a sense of pride, I believe, and it's something that give them a sense of foundation for themselves, that they can go back 2 generations and say, "Hey, my grandparents, have done this, and they're still together, and they still do these things, and they take me out, and we have fun, and we know." We're still able to teach. So we're constantly in that mode. So this is a good space to be in as well. It can be a little jarring at times because it kind of puts you in the reality of your mortality, so to
Mhm.
speak,
Yeah.
and the finite nature of our lives.
Mhm.
On the other end of 50 now, so you kind of look at things much differently.
Yes. So let's
Mhm.
unpack that one because
Yeah, yeah,
I know you and your lovely wife Tiffany have been married for
mm,
many years,
many
which is a
years.
beautiful, beautiful thing because we don't see that a lot in
Mhm.
our community.
Right.
And maintaining that work life balance, right, is something that we all are striving to do. Maintain our sense of self, and spirituality is something that we're always grappling with, right, and always
Right.
building. And I know for me, um, my marriage is new in comparison. I've only been
Mhm.
married to be 8 years this year.
Oh,
um,
okay.
yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you. My first and only marriage. I never married my children's father for reasons we spoke of earlier. But anyway,
Mhm. Mhm.
but
Moving on. Yep.
but they, and I think that's the part I speak to, that because that's the part that I'm proudest of, because my daughters got to see something that was unhealthy turn into something
Yeah.
that is healthy.
Yes. Good. Good.
And
Good.
for me, that is what I am proud of, because she actually, she said to me in that conversation, even though she was joking about me raising her kids, she
Hopefully.
hope- you know she says, I see your relationship in your marriage, and the things that you guys do, and how you guys grow and how you communicate. And she said, I want my kids to see that.
Nice.
And she
Nice.
said, I know,
Mm,
even though she's like, she's not married yet, but she has her long-term boyfriend and they do plan to get married. But she says, I want them to be able to go from our house to your house and see something that's continued from one generation to the next generation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a
We
beautiful thing.
we weren't able to see that.
True.
I and just speaking for me, weren't able to see that, you know. So that's a beautiful thing. And you and Tip, how are you guys maintaining your sense of individuality and togetherness? Because it is a challenge. It is a challenge, and it can be a challenge. Should I say it
Yeah,
can be a challenge?
yeah, yeah. It can be, especially when you're each growing, in certain ways, and not understanding it at first.
Mhm.
Taking any kind of what we've learned to do is taking we've learned to give each other space for that. Any kind of changes or growth or anything where things are not just moving correctly, between us. We've gotten to the point to now it'll be 27 years this year.
Mm, God,
And
that's
and
amazing.
yep, and thank you. And we've been together a total of 31.
Hmm.
And we talking kids, man. And what we've learned to do over the years is that, first of all, if we're going to do something spiritual, we got to do it together. If there's anything that we're going to do, we have to do it together. I can't, something on that level, we have to do it together. We have to give each other the space to grow and figure things out. And that usually comes in the form of arguments, disagreements, but those are just sessions to, flesh out, what we're experiencing on an emotional level, and we figure it out. We get to the point to our communication now has gotten to the point to where it doesn't take us long to say, oh, that was just, oh, you was just feeling like that. And then when we're honest with each other, we're like, yeah, I was feeling just, yeah, I was just feeling. Yeah, it's just, either she come to me or I'll come to her and say, babe, I was just, yeah, I was just on one. Don't worry, and she'll say the same thing. I was just, I came at you like that because I was just feeling this way that way. It's not you. It's whatever the situation is or the emotion of it is. So when you
Hmm.
give each other that space, and then we can look at each other and say, "Well, we still together," and
That
and
part.
we can work that, and we can just literally just. That's not, it's not serving us to have lingering emotion, animosity or lingering, bad feelings. We've learned
Mhm.
over the years it doesn't help us. It doesn't benefit us. It's best to get it out, get the understanding of what's going on, and get to the bottom of it. And if it's something I need to fix, I'll fix it. And it's something she needs to fix, she fixes it. And
Mhm.
does it happen just that quickly? No. Sometimes it takes time, but that's where the patience, the understanding, the knowing that, hey, her personality sometimes she just don't want to talk about it. She just don't want to deal with it right now. Okay, fine.
Mhm.
And just the vice versa. I just don't want to talk about it now. Oh, okay, fine. And we just figure out a better time to do it. And it's just that we've given each other just that kind of freedom to just be who we are, and
Mhm.
I think that's what a lot of marriages are missing is that they're not people are not allowing the other person to just be who the heck they are.
Mhm.
Just I'm not trying to change her into anything that she's not, and vice versa. All we're trying to do is bring out the best in each other, and that sometimes could be in a disagreement because she may be at odds with what I see is the best for her, and she may not see it the way I see it. So that may, but that's par for the course, really. That's just
Mhm.
another growth thing. Because at the end of the day, we're still hugging each other and saying, I love you. And all right, see you in the morning and we'll go to sleep, something like that. So it's just nothing that we've learned not to take everything so seriously. So there's no real secret to it. It's just
Mhm.
a decision that I'm gonna love this person and I'm just gonna love this person. And this is who I was given. And if we understand each other on a higher level than just, you know, I love you and you love me. No, it goes much deeper than that. You don't get to almost 30 years of it just being surface. There is a deeper spiritual component to the connection, but it
Yes.
took years. It took years to get there, but we had the patience, we had the love, and we had the understanding enough of each other to give it that time and to not just up and quit when things got rough. Things got hella rough, man. Things. This is a life together. Things are not going.
Right.
You're talking health, everything from health. We had to take care of each other through some serious health challenges we've had, you know, with each other.
Mhm.
Um, I had to learn how to make certain teas and things like that just to help her heal her body in certain ways and learn how to make certain baths and things like that to help her,
Mhm.
and we're both willing to get in the mud for each other. We're both willing to go to war with and for each other. And at the end of the day, we know we the only ones we got. And we made this decision as kids and we fought for it.
Mhm.
So, what you're seeing is a war that is a war of love that lasted the test of time, and it's going to continue to be that way because we're different people. I'm a man, she's a woman. We're still always going to have that little bit of contention, but that's reality. That's just life. That's what keeps it going. And she has this thing where she says all the time that people want to be married, but they don't want a marriage. And I think that's so profound. Like every time she says that, I'd be like, "Ooh, you cooking with that one because it's the truth." Like people, it's the idea of it. But when things get dirty and funky, and you looking at this person like you can wring their necks, and vice versa, or you look at it
Mhm.
like she don't understand me worth a damn, or vice versa, he don't understand me worth a damn. It gets to those points. What
It
do you
does.
do? What you do then?
Mhm.
What do you do then? When there is no money for anything, and she's looking at you, and you looking at her, and she's looking at you, and you looking at her.
Mhm.
What do you do then?
Yep.
So what do you do then when you're facing homelessness
Mhm.
together? When you promised the world to this person, when life start really lifing on you,
Yeah.
what do you do then?
Yep. That's
So
that work.
that's the work. That's when it's the marriage. That's what she's talking about. That's
Mhm. That's the
that.
work. That's the marriage. That's the real.
That's the real. Even when you're bored to death, there's times where we're just sitting there eating chips and eating cake and watching TV, and sometimes she'll say, "This is marriage." Yes,
Mhm.
yes, it is. It's not all roses, and I don't, and so that's why divorces are what they are,
Mhm.
and when we come through something, when we come through something, we're that much happier because we did it together, and we realize that just say, hey, yeah, we can go through anything. We
Mhm.
still standing, and I'm not looking at her any different than and she's not looking at me any different, and
Mhm.
that's just what it is, and it's not always going to be you know um, peaches and cream. It's not. Most of the time it's rough. It's hard. It's you're dealing with competing emotions. You out there in the world and you're around all of these people, so you're dealing with you see things and you may want to bring those things home and bring stuff into your marriage because you're going through these different emotions and what you feel you should have or how you feel it should look and be. And so it's always that. There's always going to be that, right? I'm
Yep.
sure I'm preaching to the choir here, but it's what do you do at the end of the day when none of that matters?
Yep. When none of that matters. And I
I'm laying
think
in the hospital bed. When does that any of that matter? I'm laying in the hospital bed. Is this woman gonna come and bring me my medication? Is she gonna fight these doctors to make sure they doing the right things for me? Yes, she
Mhm.
will. And I've
Yep.
done it for her, and she's done it for me. And that's all the proof we need, sis. Straight up.
That really is. And now you're in this, the midpoint of our lives. And I say that and I share in that because
Yeah.
we're
Good way of saying it. Good way of saying it. But right. Right.
right.
Hmm.
And I had a whole segment on menopause and And I did another one too because I was like, yo, men go through menopause too. It just looks different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It just
Yeah.
looks different, and something maybe it's the same. But it still happens, and you have those physical and mental changes that are happening, um,
Yes.
and you have to live through that. And I'm going to be completely honest. I say some points you look at the person you're married to, it's like you love them to death, and then the next minute it's like get the hell out of my face.
Yeah. 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 It gets that way. It does.
It gets that way. You're in the greatest of mood, and then 2 seconds later, you're like, oh my God, I just don't want to do this today, kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're
Mm-hmm.
navigating those moods for yourself and for her, because she's shifting in one area too, and
Yes.
going this way. And so you're having to, you're like, okay, what are we doing today? And it's not that, and I don't want people to think that you're on eggshells or anything for either
No.
side,
I
because you're
know.
not.
Mm-hmm.
You're not. It's just now your life is changing, and you're navigating in a new. You're driving a new car.
Yeah.
You're driving
Yeah.
a new car, and you're getting to know this car because it's not the same car that you had.
Absolutely. And that's where the giving the space for each other to grow comes in. That's where
Mhm,
recognizing that comes in, and not always honoring your emotions
mhm,
comes in, because emotions are fleeting. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You really have to take a step back and say,
mhm,
why am I feeling this way, about her in this moment?
mhm,
What did she do to make me feel, what's going on with me? So I have to check myself on certain things and say, nah, you just feeling this way because you're hungry, or you're bored, or you're
mhm,
dissatisfied with this, that, or the third. It could be a myriad of reasons. And yes, you are, I did kind of go through a little moment. I had my moment, once I hit the big 5-0,
mhm.
last year. It kind of was like, what? I was just, I was just on the block. I was just
Mhm,
taking the 6 train uptown. I was just going to school to play ball with my friends. I was just,
mhm.
and then you take stock of your life, and you look at what you accumulated and what you didn't, and the decisions you made, and certain things kind of hit you. Just speaking personally, certain things kind of hit me kind of hard. Certain decisions I made in the past that I thought may have benefited my family, but may have thrown us off course.
Mhm.
So it's even navigating that, where for 10 years she's in my ear telling me I'm wrong about stuff. You know what I mean? Like, how do we stay together after something like that? You know what I
Right.
mean? And I'm saying a solid 10-year period. Like that, it
Mhm,
was a constant conversation of, what are you doing? We're trying to take care of our family. What are you doing? So it's, and me in my young mind, I'm thinking, oh, she's just attacking me, and oh, she's just,
right.
just don't want to, just let me be a man, and
Mhm,
it takes going through that to understand, no, she's just trying to get you to be better, because you have a family and you have to think differently. And the decisions I was making weren't necessarily like selfish decisions, but they were decisions that jeopardized us on a financial level,
mhm,
just being immature on that sense, in that sense. So, it was, navigating that for years and years, and having her stick around through that time frame, because a lot of women would have left,
mhm.
with some of the situations I had my family in, as little kids and stuff. We weren't never homeless or anything like that, but it was just moving around a lot and things like that, and just not being stable, minded. So not being stable minded, everything else was off, so, but
Right,
her sticking with me through that. That's what I mean by giving space. Now I'm out of that. She didn't leave, and we're both better for it. Why? Because I matured. She's
right.
getting more the man that she wants. because I went through this particular experience. She learned, and then she sees that I learned because I told her, I understand where you're coming from now. We were going through this. This is what you were trying to tell me. I
Mhm.
get it. So we acknowledge each other. We give, each other, she speaks a lot of life into me,
Mhm.
and that's something she had to learn because she didn't always do that,
Right.
so that was something she saw I needed as I was changing and developing.
Mhm.
You see how it goes. So it's a symbiotic thing,
Uh,
man. And you really just got to really be into this person and really into what you have to even be connected on that level to where it matters what they feel and what they think, and you try to act on as much as you possibly can. And then there are times where you have to say,
right.
let me check you on this because your mind is not in the right place here.
It's
Mhm.
like,
Sometimes it's necessary, right? And she
yeah.
does that to me a lot. She does that to me a lot. Like I'm sometimes I'm thinking like I got $10 million in my pocket. She's like, where you
Mhm.
going? No, we gonna start like this.
Just bring
You
it back
go,
a little bit.
and I'm way out here like we could do this, 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 and so it's. But she understands that that's my nature. I think big because that's how I am.
Mhm.
She's learned, okay, yeah, I like that because it shows me you're thinking and it's about us and you have us in this. But let me rein you back a little bit because you thinking that big, you won't get anything done. And that's because of the track record of our life showed her that. So she's so you see what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
learn these nuances, you learn these things and you complement each other. And, your marriage is supposed to be where as you go along in it, you're more attracted to the person you're with. You're more in love with the person you're with. You're more appreciative of the person you're with, and you're willing to provide more, to do more acts of service. It's and it should be that way. I think
Yeah.
as you go along, you know what I mean. Like, or else what the hell are you doing? You know what I'm saying? If it's not growing, if neither one of you are improving or growing or checking each other, building each other, learning each other and figuring out how to help grow each other, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
You're
No.
doing is nothing. And there's something we had to learn. We were young. Nobody taught us any of this stuff, man. We didn't come from families with successful marriages, like you said, at all. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Right.
what neither one of us, you know what I'm saying? So, and
Yeah.
our kids, and that's something that our kids recognized, we had to,
Mhm.
we say, hey, man, so a lot of the mistakes we made and things that we didn't do, hey, we didn't come from home, we didn't see this. So we're learning this as we go. And I
Yeah.
think we've done a pretty good job, but, it is what it is. And you just learn it. And it's never going to be 100%,
No.
la la land. And if it is, then do you really want it? Because then you're not really being honest if that's the case. Everybody's just tiptoeing around each other just to keep the peace, and
That part.
yeah, it's not success. You can't be successful that way. It's got to
No.
be some beef, it's got to be some kind of drama, and I don't mean drama in a bad way, but it's got to
No.
be something because that's where the growth comes in,
That, yes, I
that's
was thinking that's like that's where the growth happens.
that's where the development happens. That's where the
Yes.
growth, the
And it's
pain.
not comfortable.
No, it's not meant to be.
It's
It's not
not
meant to be.
comfortable.
You can't do it if it's
Mm-mm.
comfortable. You can't live in Shangri-La. You can't live in heaven all the time. You gotta have a little bit of hell. You gotta have some balance.
Yes.
And with the balance, there's um, how do you say guardrails to it. So you only go so far on each end.
Mhm.
In the scripture, it says, "Don't be over much wicked, but don't be over much righteous." So it's like there's a balance you gotta have, and I think some people jump ship, while they're going through that balancing act
Yeah.
because everything looks so good on the outside, but if that person isn't putting their foot up your butt every day or doing everything they can to disrespect you and degrade you and bring you down, then it's worth a fight. It's
Mhm.
it's worth the fight because the beauty is now my grandchildren can see their grandparents every day, loving each other, holding hands, going to dinner all the time, and taking
Yeah.
them with us. And they're not going to grandpa house, going to grandma house, going to this, no,
Yeah.
it's grandparents' house, and we gonna have a good time with as a good. And we take them together. Like I don't just send her off to do it. We do it
Right.
together. Like hey, I'm driving just like I did with the when with our kids. Hop in the
Mhm.
driver's seat. Let's go. We gonna do this. So that's it's a life, and I just wish people just took time, to just not worry about what's going on out there. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? You chose, and not everybody's perfect. I'm not perfect. No one's
No.
perfect. You chose to be, with this person, have children with somebody. You got to think differently, and you got to
Mhm.
move differently because what you do just don't affect you. You know,
Exactly. No, that's
you can go
exactly.
on and on and on and on like
I know.
that.
I know. That's a whole look.
That's a
That's a
whole
whole
show.
segment.
Yes, it is.
There's a
Yeah,
whole segment. But now you're empty nester. So okay, let's see some insight onto these new plans that you guys
yeah,
got
they're coming.
going.
Oh, oh, they're coming. They're coming. It really, I think it took to get to this point to really unleash, a lot of the things. And sometimes life is that way. I may have to spend the 30 years raising my family and doing that, before I was able to really do me on the level, So getting to this point now where they're just about out the door, yeah, it's go time. It's go time. So the businesses, the Black Diamond Theater Company, Mosaic Entertainment Group, still in effect. I have um, the Masters is under Mosaic Entertainment Group.
Mhm.
The book is under Mosaic Entertainment Group. And a lot of the scripted stuff that I have is under Mosaic as well. So I have that. I'm also developing my own movie theater as well. So people who have independent films and even I'm working on getting the proper projector that
Mhm.
are in these movie theaters. It costs about $40,000, but
Yeah.
it's the projector that would allow me to run first run movies. So the same movies that you go to Harkins or whatever see, you come to my movie theater, you see the same thing, and that's part of this ecosystem that I'm talking about.
Mhm.
So if I can help the writers, if I can help the actors, if I can help the directors, not only can I help you in that sense of developing your craft on stage and in front of an audience, but I can help your distribution by saying,
Mhm.
come to my movie theater and do a run of your film,
That's
for
awesome.
this audience. Or you can go into the next room and watch the newest movie that's coming out in the main theater, but
Mhm.
it's owned and curated, by myself and by the community that I'm trying to build.
Yes. It's not the community that you are building, right?
That I am building. Yes.
That you are building. And I say it to myself too, because changing that verbiage, right?
Mhm.
Stop saying we trying, because we doing.
Right. Right. We're doing it. We're
We
doing it. We're doing
doing.
it. Absolutely.
And we're doing some amazing things. And I love what it is that we are doing. And, I think bringing the authenticity of everything that we're doing is the beauty of it, because we're
Hmm.
not sugarcoating it. We're not saying there's not hardship. It's not saying that we don't have broke days. It's not saying we're not looking at. It's the truth of the matter. To build
Yes.
anything from the ground up that is worthy is going to take blood, sweat, and tears.
Absolutely. Challenges and only the strong, those who endure to the end, the same shall be saved. You understand? So
Exactly.
you have to find the value in it to continue.
Mhm.
Being married to me, being a father, being an artist, those things are everything. You know what I mean? So what else is there? But I'm at the stage in my life where I just want to be a resource and be, you know, something, a place people can come to, for whatever they need, in this industry, and whatever they need, even just on a personal level. I like to especially talk to men and sit down and what's going on. You know, in your life. If you have any questions about it, people ask me stuff all the time, and I dip in that spiritual bag on them, and I
Right.
dip in that personal life bag on them, and talk things out. But yeah, I just want to be, that's my ultimate desire, is to just serve, in any capacity that I can. That's just the truth.
And I think that, but in order to, when you're looking at the balance of it, you have to give in order to receive. We can't always think we're going to just take
Absolutely.
take take from the universe. We got to give something back,
Gotta give.
and not. I think I, again, the reason why we connect so much is because I think we have the same um, thought process. Because I think about the same thing. I'm a nurse educator. I'm a nurse practitioner. I'm a nurse educator. So first and foremost, anytime I see anyone struggling, either in education, even in health, my first instinct is to, what can I do to help you?
Mm,
And
mm.
unfortunately, I do have to learn that I do have to get paid for some of the things I say and
Yes, yes, absolutely.
I can't keep giving everything out for free.
No,
Um,
you cannot.
so I
You
do
cannot.
want to share that in what I'm saying, so people don't like start coming to me. It's like, oh, you're no, 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 no.
No,
Okay,
no. Yeah.
there is a
No, no, no.
balance here.
Absolutely. Ching, ching, baby. Ching, ching. You know what I'm
There,
saying?
you
So,
know.
yeah.
So it's just and it's just knowing that, because
Right.
we have to be kind to ourselves in that aspect too, because again, we do have hearts that are giving. We have to be guarded in how much
Very
we
much so.
give and set those boundaries.
Very much so.
So,
Very much so.
you
Very
know,
much so.
and
I totally
navigating
agree.
that is difficult.
It is. And I've developed, I like to sing to myself sometimes. I
Hmm.
think that's how I decompress, when things kind of get there. I just put on some music and I just sing until I can't sing anymore sometimes. And that really helps release that,
Hmm.
that when I get to that point, and, it does happen, it's hardships, it's all of that stuff, man. Like, this is not, you know, when I say life is life and life be life, and, things be happening, and it's on a spiritual level, as well, as a physical level. And giving, I think, is the best thing we can do in order to receive. Like, if I want my wife to be the way I want her to be, I gotta give to her. I gotta give her the things she needs and she desires and she wants and feels that she needs, and vice versa. You
Hmm.
know, and you have to give. If I want to be a good father, I got to give of myself to my kids. That means time, energy, some game. You know what I'm saying? Some money. You
Hmm.
know, part of me building these relationships is for them too. I want to be able to make a phone call and say, "Hey, my son just lost his job over here, such and such. He needed, hey, you got something." I want to be
Yes.
able to do that too. And be that type of resource for my kids too. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
you don't stop parenting, once they
No.
get a certain age, because that phone don't stop ringing when they need something. So you don't
Nope.
stop parenting at all. I won't stop being a parent. I'll be parenting from the sky. You feel me? That's
Yes.
just what it is. And that's me still giving. Like, that's once I understood that, and I'm just gonna say this as a man, that my job is to take care of people and take care of things, my whole perspective switched on giving, and the
Mhm.
understanding of what it is I'm pleased to do it. I'm
Mhm.
honored to in this position to be a father. You know how much I learned, you know,
Mhm.
raising children and not always being good at it. Being, I could be the first to say, I've been terrible. You don't think, they'll come back and tell you, when they get
Mhm.
older,
No,
how
I
they
know.
feel. And so you've experienced that, and I get it in force,
See,
so.
I'm glad I only get
and
it in twos. I'm
get
good.
it in twos. Yeah, see, imagine two more, you know what I'm saying? And you did this. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, and you gotta listen to that, man.
Yes.
You really gotta take that in and really say,
Yeah.
okay,
And
all right. So
and be able to say, I'm sorry, but I was
yes,
different then
yes,
than I am now. I'm not that same person and circumstances are different.
yes, yes, yes.
But I hear
And
you and I
yes,
see
and
you.
kids are wise. Kids are wise. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Acknowledge them. Acknowledge what they're saying is real
Mhm.
because it's real for them.
Mhm.
And you know, it's tough to hear
Yeah.
sometimes because I had
Oh,
an
yeah.
idea of what I thought I was until I got slapped down with it. Like, no, actually, no, you wasn't like that.
No.
Huh?
Mm-mm.
Really?
That
Oh,
reality, man.
man. You know, I don't get mad. I'll be like, oh, really?
Yeah.
I wasn't. No. Oh,
No. No, you
no,
weren't
and
like,
I'm
hey,
going to my daddy bag. Then what can I do?
what can I do?
What can I do?
Yeah.
You know,
What can I do?
and I just hope that they understand that anything I've ever done was never intentionally harmful. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And it's nothing bad like, you know, neglect or anything. It's just,
Right.
you know, you miss certain things, you know, when they're young, you know, certain needs they may have had.
Right.
You were just tired and you just didn't, you know, feel like being bothered. Like my
Yeah.
youngest daughter, like stories being read to her all the time. I worked two jobs. I was tired. You know, I didn't want to read three or four books, you know. But she didn't ask just for one. It was more than one, but
Right.
I realized that if I would have just took the time, got out of my own emotion, my
Mhm.
own head, and just sat there and read those books like my baby girl wanted me to, till she fell asleep, regardless of how I felt, you know, who knows, you know, our relationship could be different now. Not that
Mhm.
it's bad, but it could be even better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think about those things like, man, I missed opportunities to be, you know, impactful for them in certain ways. So that's where the honesty comes in, and that's where really taking an account of who I am, you know,
Mhm.
as just as a man, just as a father, just wow, you know, and the same thing in my marriage. Like I take account, you know, where I messed up, you know, in a lot of ways, you know. Where I have my wife looking at me like, man, I could just ooh, if I didn't like you with your big nose, boy, we could have
Mm.
a problem. We'd have a problem. You know what I'm saying? We'd have a problem up in here. So,
Mhm.
you know, and vice versa. So it's you know, it is taking stock in your life, man. And now I'm at the point to where that's where you get to contentment, right? That's where you
Mhm.
get to a certain level of peace. You know, when you make peace with certain things. Yes, I apologize. I was not, you know, I missed a lot of opportunities to be a good dad to y'all. You know, I may have worked a little bit too much and was gone a little bit too much when you guys were little because I missed a lot of their early childhood, two, three, four, five, six, because I
Yeah.
worked, you know, three jobs sometimes, you know, to keep, I
Mhm.
usually was in California at the time. So it was driving 70 miles one way, you know, to work.
Ooh.
So to my two jobs and sometimes three. So because it was cheaper to have my kids out there in the desert, you know, in a big house where we can afford than in a two-bedroom city. So
Mhm.
same things we kind of dealing with now, right? You know, but
Right.
back in the 90s. But you know, just those things, just taking stock. And I think it's helped me become a better writer. To be honest with you.
No.
All
No.
those experiences and really sit back and inject certain things into my characters. It made me I'm able to write female characters better because I understand my wife better. You know, I
Mhm.
understand, you know, my daughters, you know, and I understand, you know, just the dynamic. I'm still working on my sisters, you know. I don't talk to them as much as I should. So, you know, just recognizing that, you know, and just watching the dynamics of their lives too. So, you
You
know, I
know,
pull from all of that.
and you, the fact that you're taking that opportunity to even process it and acknowledge it is, that continued growth as a human being, as a person, as a man, is just something that you have to continuously work at. It doesn't just stop because you're 50 now.
Mhm. it just starts really.
It just starts again,
It
right?
just starts, really,
Because again,
because
like I said, it's a new car. You just got this car.
really,
Now you got to learn to drive it.
great analogy. You're right. Absolutely. It's the truth.
So, so it's just like, no, it just doesn't work that way. So, I think that, this empty nest period, and I don't like, it's not really empty, this new nest.
There you go. Okay.
Because it's
Yeah.
filled
New
with
nest.
something just totally different. You rebuilt the new nest,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
now you're filling this nest with the next generation.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, because
Absolutely.
I don't like saying empty because it just feels like you're something is lost, and
Right.
you
Yeah, I
know,
never thought of it that way. That's a good point. That's a very good
mm,
point. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's a new nest. You're adding a wing to your nest. How about that?
Yeah. There you go. Out of the way. We're not losing anything.
You're
We're
not
gaining.
losing anything.
We're
Um,
gaining. Yeah.
but you have this, and the amounts you get to learn your wife again. She gets to
Yes.
learn you again in this
Yes.
new
Yes.
role and
Yes.
this new car you're driving. You drive it together, and some days, the stick shift may stick. Some days you
Mhm.
got a smooth ride, but you're doing it together, and I think
Yes.
that is the beautiful thing about it. You get to travel together and not worry about having to navigate the children. Now you're navigating each other, and
There you go.
what are
There
we
you go.
doing today? Maybe it's nothing, maybe it's something. Maybe you go do something, maybe I go do something, and we come back for dinner. And you just new life, new changes, new
Yep.
things. And I think that is beautiful. And again, it adds another chapter to your writing as well, because
It
your
does.
writing is going to change, is changing
It is. It is. And
with that.
that's a beautiful thing. And that I like how you put that. Yeah, we actually that was a discussion actually. When we first got together, I think within 2 years, a year and a half, we were parents. So we didn't give each other that time to kind of really spend that time. We did all of this while raising kids.
Mhm.
So now that, and it is good and it kind of like at the same time because now they're all grown up and in rediscovering each other, I told her, I was like, our original plan was for 5 years.
Mhm.
It just you and me just, man, just running all over this planet, just doing what we want to do. And then we'll settle down and have our family and, blah, blah, blah. So she said, well, now that they leaving, we can get our 5 years. And I had to think
Mhm.
about that. I was like, yeah, you're right. Because, yeah, I'm maybe 51, but I'm still in relatively good health. We can still move around and run around. And,
Yeah.
I can walk for miles and miles and miles, and she can too. And it's like, okay, well, shoot, we can still do this and we can have our 5 years, of
Mhm.
rediscovering it, just having a good time, just enjoying each other and the things that we're trying to do individually.
Mhm.
She wants to do things and develop certain aspects of herself as well for herself by herself, you know what I mean? And that's a beautiful thing, and
Mhm.
I'm anxious to see how that develops, with her, and I'm there to help every step of the way, and vice versa. She's there with me, whatever I want to do something, she's right there. She may not always agree with me, but I'm gonna I'm the man, I'm gonna do it. But
Right.
but she,
That's
she's
the thing. You show
always
up and you're
mhm.
there, and it's like, yeah, I got your six. When you're out, it's like, okay, but when I'm inside, I'm gonna tell you why I didn't like what you did.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And and it's she's so respectful, she's so respectful because it's never in front of people. She
Hmm.
never, does any of that in front of anybody. It's always when we're on our way home or once we're home and settled, and then she'll say, I really wasn't feeling that, or you should
Hmm.
do this differently or do that differently, or when you speak, do this. Or she's always trying to make me conscious of my appearance and things like that. So I always got somebody that got my back, man. And not a lot of people have that, and that's something that I celebrate. I celebrate and I cherish. You know, I can always be better at showing it. So that's one of those aspects of growing, but I'm not afraid to say it and express it.
Mhm.
So I'll at least give her that. The physical displays are still coming. What I'm saying? But that's always been. But as far as she never doubts. And neither do I. So at the end of the day, that's what matters. And that's
Yeah.
where we're going to take it, and I'm just anxious to see where it goes from here. We have a lot of more years to enjoy things together, and that's what we're both looking forward to.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm so there. I do understand.
Mhm. Yeah.
It is great, and I will tell you, if you haven't taken a cruise, it's a great way to start. So,
See, and that's one of the things. And no, and because of our challenging years together, I've never had the opportunity to take my baby on a cruise. So a lot of people have told us that's really a good way to really spend time and
mhm.
um, just if you're driving that new car, yeah, take your wife on a cruise and see. So that's definitely a goal. I'm definitely working on it. And hopefully we can get this. If you know anybody with a traveling company or whatever, let me know. Off air, and we can work
I
out something.
actually
But I'm
do.
definitely
So
looking forward to stepping my team up.
I will share that information
All
with
right, there
you.
it
I
is. So,
actually do.
all right, excellent. Thank you so
She's
much. I'm definitely looking
yes,
to step my game up. So, any
yes,
way possible.
she's awesome, and she does actually she does international travel. It's like
Ooh,
a travel club kind of thing.
really? Okay. Yeah. We're
Yeah,
looking to do stuff like that. Absolutely.
yeah. So I will
Absolutely.
definitely share her information with you. She was actually on my podcast, Dr. Jamila Williams. Hmm.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, that name sounds familiar. Sounds
Yeah,
very familiar. Very familiar. Okay.
yeah, so
Well,
she
I'm looking
does. So
forward
I
to it.
definitely share that information over with you, along with other stuff. But we'll talk about that. But
Yep.
we've been talking for 2 hours, which
Yes,
I
we
am
have.
not doing. Well, we're not going to count our off-camera stuff.
Right. Right. So it's more like 2.5 hours, maybe. But it's
We're
all
talking
good.
for 3 hours.
3 hours. Yep. It's all good though. It just shows it's kindred spirits and kindred souls all over the place, man.
All
Like
over.
minds hook up. This is what happened. So I feel
Yes,
blessed for it, and I'm thankful for the invite. To the show. I really appreciate it.
absolutely. I mean, like I have told you from the day one, you are always welcome. Whenever you decide, you say, "Hey, I want to come back," just let me know.
All right, I'm still working on Tiff too. I'm still working
I
on
know.
her.
I mean,
I'm gonna get on camera. I'm going to get on camera one day.
we're gonna get her. I'm like, come
We're
on,
gonna get
because I
her.
know you. Because I hear the stuff secondhand. I'm like, I know you got
Mhm.
stuff to say.
Oh, she does. She does. She does. I want her to say it too. So we'll keep working on her. We'll keep working.
We just gotta, even if it's just for a little while. I'll take
Mhm.
her and we'll take it in snippets. How about that? We'll
Okay,
start with
I'll tell
like,
her
you know,
that.
right? We start with
10 minutes snippets.
10 minutes.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I'll tell her that.
We'll
Let's
start
see what
with
she
10
says.
minutes and then we'll
Mhm.
kindly like work her up because I know once she gets going, that 10 minutes is going to start stretching even
Oh,
in that because once she starts
yeah.
talking, it's
Mhm.
just going to start flow. It's just that
Yeah.
initial getting her to sit and
Yep.
be.
Yep. And be
That's what it
relaxed.
is.
That's it. We have to get her into that.
Yep,
And she'll be fine.
just tell her light an incense, just chill and just let the chime in.
Let it
Just
flow. There we go.
let it flow. Yep.
Yep.
We will say
She'll be all right, though.
by spring. We're gonna put April, May
Yeah, yeah,
ish.
yeah. Let's put April. April is our anniversary month, so yeah, let's
See,
let's put it in
okay.
for there. She
So
might be in the mood.
she might be like in that spirit to yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
to April, May ish. So we're gonna have you put that on your calendar. So
Okay.
we're gonna reach
Will
back
do.
out and set a date around April, May ish with Tiff, so we can get her on there. And I'm telling you, once she gets on there, she's gonna go, and it's just gonna like,
That's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful
and
thing.
then,
Brother,
and then
she has a story to tell too, and you know,
exactly.
don't be denying the world because you shy. Come on, baby. We
Come
can do
on.
this. You know, we can do this, and she'll do it. She'll do it with the. We'll just keep working on it. It's not
Let's
going
keep
to take
working
much
on
longer.
her.
She's almost there. She's almost there.
And you could tell I did not get in front of the camera until I was 44 years old.
Mm,
And
mm,
I'm about to be
mm.
40. I'm about to be 49. So, so
So okay. Well, I mean, hey, there it is. I mean,
it's just, and it took me just sitting there and just doing it. So you just got to sit
right,
there and just do it
right,
and just
right,
do it. But we're
right.
gonna work on it. We're gonna work on
We
her.
will. We will.
We're gonna be her pushers. Come on, come on,
Come on. Come on. Come on.
come
We
on.
can do it.
You
We
can
want
do
to hear
it.
your side. We want to
We
hear your
got your
side.
back. We,
Yeah, we got your back. It's safe space. It's a
yep.
safe space.
Save space.
Safe space.
That's what it's about. But yes, I want to thank you again for
Yes.
coming.
Thank
Like I
you.
said,
Thank
you're
you.
always welcome. Welcome to come back. Anything new, anything excitement, anything, just let me know. You're
Will
more than
do.
welcome.
Will do.
And
Thank you
I
so
do
much.
want to share. Do you have any contact information that you want to share with the audience to get in contact with you to be a part of Black Diamond Entertainment, where we can find it? Is there a website, all those lovely things, or is it just through email and Facebook?
No website as of yet, but you can link up with me on Instagram at BDMT. So Black Diamond Mini Theater, BDMT dot 2023. And you can send me a message and say, hey, we can exchange information that way. But definitely, if you're looking to be down, hit me up on IG on that, and just send me a DM. We could take it from there. I am working on the website, a banner, things like that. I'm looking for a permanent location. This next event is a soft launch of the theater
Mhm.
um, on March 16th, and I'll be providing location information and times at a later date. But just so your audience knows, it is going to be on that day. But the time is probably going to be between 6 and 9 p.m. So I'll let you know.
Okay. And
All
plus,
right.
I'll
It's
post
going to
all
be
of this
fun.
on the website too, so that
Okay.
it is
Okay.
there and in the show notes, and also be following up since, again, I'm in the circle. So,
There
yeah,
you go.
there we
You're in the circle, and it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a fun time. We're going to have music. We're going to have a poet. We're going to have scenes. We're going to show some of my work on film. So you want to come out and you want to check it out, family, and hopefully sign up and become a member. Talk to
go.
Diana. She's in the circle, so she know what it is.
Yes, and you definitely know where to find me. So with that, I am going to let Jay chill for the rest of his Sunday, enjoy his time with Tiff, and maybe chill for a moment.
Hmm.
And I want to just, huh?
Oh
Just,
no, no, I was just laughing.
mhm. I'm just saying thank you to you guys, to everyone, the WUBI family. Again, this will air every Friday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Mountain Standard Time on Roku TV. And if you haven't downloaded the app yet, please do. WUBI.com, excuse me, WUBI.live for the website, and also on Apple and on Google Playlists and on all Roku TVs. Just download the app and you will find us there. And I'm still on all the other streaming podcasts as well. So if you missed it on either WUBI, you can still find me on the streaming networks. I'm still there. So with that, if you haven't, again, I'm going to say thank you to my sponsors. If you have not tried Divine Nubian Essentials hair and skincare products, please do. DivineNubianEssentials.com is, I'm just going to say it's the bomb diggity, because I'm a little biased because it's mine, but it's okay. Um, It
As
is,
you should be. As you should be.
as I should be, right?
Mhm.
Um,
That's right.
and in Collins Education Resource Management, because education is key, and we are here for your tutoring service as well as your education of community health and wellness, maintaining that lovely balance, right? Mind, body, and soul. So, with that, I want to say thank you again and namaste. And I'm going to have you sit in the room for a minute. Ooh, child.
Ah.